Trying to objectively review a series is something that has been eating away at me these last couple of days. How can we properly review a series without giving way to the subjective nature that a review intrinsically is? A review is essentially X person's perspective on any given series. Much like a person's truth, perspective is one of the few things that are truly unique to each one of us. No one's perspective is the same because simply no one has lived the exact same lives as one another. None of us is created by the world. Better put, we are morphed by the experiences, good or bad, that ultimately mold us into the person that we are today, which is also ever changing, which is another bad check to the bank that is reviews. You are always changing, evolving into hopefully a better self than previous years' iteration or new model, and with that comes a change in likes and dislikes. You may have given X series a 9 out of 10 for X given reasons. Now fast forward 5 years and you give the same series a 6, simply because those reasons have now become tropes or cliches that you now hold as detrimental to a series. Or you can collect manga for 4 years and decide that you want to purge 80% of your collection. Not talking about anyone specifically there. Okay, so not only are we all constantly evolving and changing, but we all have distinct different worldviews. How the fuck can we ever agree on a common score? Well, many take to a grading system as their objective view on a series, quoting that they are not biased towards a series because they simply broke up a series into parts and reviewed it separately and objectively. It goes something like art, animation, plot, characters, ending. It differs from reviewers to reviewers, but you get the gist. Now, the problem with this, while yes, don't get me wrong, it seems great on paper and everything, but all they really did was split up a subjective review into smaller, bite-sized subjective reviews, and then you add them all up, and guess what? You get a subjective score, which is a subjective review. Okay, so now all these reviewers preface this by saying they are simply looking at this series objectively, and they, in no way, shape, or form, are biased. But you, the reviewer, just being alive, just breathing, just being a human being is biased. It is your viewpoint, a view that no one else shares, a view that values aspects of media differently than anyone else in the world. At this point, I'm just rambling at something like the existence of God or the value of good and evil, morality, ethics, that really have no concrete answer, that really just sway from position to position. And then I came up with the range score. Now, don't quote me. Someone else could have mentioned this years ago, but I'm oblivious to it. And besides, it's not like I'm making money off this or have a particularly huge following that I want to showboat in front of. So, what do I mean by a range score? Essentially, you take a series like, let's use Black Clover, for example. You lay out the series at its core parts. What the series is right, what it is wrong, what holds it back, and when it shines, if it ever does. Now, taking that, you score it based on the lowest score you can think someone unbiasedly could reasonably give this series. In my case, I think the lowest score that someone could give this series without being a complete elitist is about a 4. An overall bad series simply because it isn't the kind of series you are interested in or you think it fell flat. I think that's fair. In this way, we take a stance where you didn't like the series, but you can see why others would enjoy it. So the lowest point for this series, thinking of others and thinking of yourself, would be a 4. I don't particularly think it does anything wrong, just doesn't bring anything new to the table either. Now you gauge what the highest score the series could reasonably get based on its strength, but try not to fall into the shonen hype train moments in which a couple of chapters, a couple of epic fights make you believe that this is the next fucking One Piece or Hunter x Hunter or some shit. They typically all have their shining moments, so don't fall for the con. Based on its strengths, I think an 8 would not be out of the realm of possibility. So now your range score for the series would be a 4 through 8, with the medium score being a 6. Now that sounds fair. Take a note, this is all just me rambling within my head on how to do this and how I would do this, and this is in no way the correct way you should go about it. There really is no correct way to go about it, that's why I'm rambling. And please, if you do adopt this method, do not simply use it to harass others. Preferences, at the end of the day, what they like will not affect you whatsoever, so don't bully others over their taste. But me just creating this just gives a way for people to objectively, quote unquote, objectively review a series and tell you if it's trash. I'm just not trying to do that. I'm just trying to, find a way to make this work for me. One last point. If we lived in a perfect world, I believe we wouldn't be having this discussion, because on average, most series would look more like a normal distribution graph or a bell curve, in which a small number wouldn't like the series, moves up, and the majority find the series as quote unquote good, and then it would drop down with a small number of fanaticisms that rave that the series is a masterpiece. But in my opinion, that'd be pretty fucking boring, right? What we have now is in no way, shape, or form perfect, but we will never have anything perfect when it comes to, objective and subjective matters. Subjective matters, to be sure. Even there's some philosophers that say there's nothing objective in the world. We will never truly find an answer, because each one of us is different. Each one of us likes different things, and that's great. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you guys liked my video. Peace.